So we had understanding the self, now understanding the world. So here basically we are trying to understand the Prakriti. So, so we are a Jivi, Jeev, a Dehi, a Shariri, who is in this world interacting with the world. Okay. So there is a side note. Technically, you see the world from your point of view, and I see the world from my point of view. Whatever you have grown up with, the experiences you had, the education you had, the good and bad you had in childhood or youth or whatever, you have made a view of the world. And another person like me has made another view of the world. So when we see a bus, we both know, okay, this bus will come and will stop at the bus stand and you can get inside, you have to pay the ticket. Those are objective ones. But if I have, for example, if somebody who is living in a different country, uh, who as a different animal, we have cow, they don't understand why you worship cow, right? So we have a different worldview because we grew up in a different way. We have interacted with the world in a certain way, and that is, for example, in India, we don't take the first name of the teacher in school or in class. We don't even say Mr. Sharma. Whoever teacher will say, Sharma sir, something like that. Will say. In US, for example, right from the beginning, it is said that anybody you call them by their first name. If you are being formal, then you can say Mr. John or Mr. Smith or whatever. But otherwise, you will just call by first name. So there's a different worldview. Now, what happens when two people come in contact? One is coming from a certain worldview, other is coming from a certain worldview. We assume that everybody is thinking from our, I've got the, this is the way it is. How come they are not understanding? So all the time in every interaction that you are having, the principle is coming from his personal, his or her personal and role-based worldview. The teacher is coming from his or her personal and role-based worldview. Student is coming from their worldview. And when all three collide, you don't understand the teacher. Why didn't you do homework? And maybe the student had 10 other things to do. We don't know. Maybe that student has a problem. So all these issues that happen, and we just keep thinking, why don't things happen the way they should, which is the way I know they should, right? So that is where all the clash and clash, both the Sanskrit clash and the English clash that happens. Matra sparshastu kaunteya chitoshna sukha dukkhadah agamapayino nityaha tan stitikshasva bharata. Now first we talked about the self, the Atma, the Dehi. Now we are talking about the Kshetra, the Deha. So Matra here is, all the physical attributes that take Panch Mahabhut and, the Akash and Prithvi, Jal, Agni, like that. So all the material things that are the matter, which is making this whole world, when you come in contact with that through the body, so the Dehi is there, you are the person, driver, Dehi is there, which is the car, and then you're driving on the road, which could be bumpy or not, there could be other vehicles. And whatever you experience, maybe the air quality is not good, so you start the AC, it's too hot, so you start the AC, whatever. I'm talking about the analogy of the driver in the car and you in the body, right? So Shita, Ushna, Sukha, and Dukha, all these come from contact with the physical world. Matra or Sparshat. So these are all coming and going. There is never forever thing. So for example, if it is very hot, it is going to get better by the evening. In the night, it is going to get better. When the winter comes, it will get colder. It is not that any of these is for forever. They come and go. So because they come and go, titikshasva, bear them. So it's like, I think I told last time, what is tapas? Tapas is you have set your journey to a particular destination. During that journey, you don't get distracted from your journey because you want to avoid discomfort or because you want to get comfort. If it comes on the way, that's fine. But if you say, oh, there's a five-star hotel 7 kilometers away from the route, let's go there, or 20 kilometers away, then you're totally getting off the route because you want a five-star. Then you say, no, 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 whatever comes on the road, on the way only, whatever comes, little later it will come, so we'll wait. Or if it is right there on the road, but we'll not go 20 kilometers inside and all. So you are on your track, on your path to the destination. You are not seeking comfort, you are not avoiding discomfort. That is tapas. Okay? Jabardasti dukh nahi lena hai. Nobody is saying that jabardasti hardship kar raha hai. That is a training is a different story. You do hardship to train yourself. That's fine. So bear all of them. And again, Bhumi, Apa, Analji, these 5 elements, Panch Mahabhut that I was talking about. So Prithvi, Jala, Tej, Vayu, Akash. So, and then you have Manabuddhi, Ahankar. So these are the 8 types of uh, materials that are called the Apara Prakriti, which is basically uh, the normal Prakriti that we see. This is called the Para, and the Apara is the one which is in the Jiva. So there are 2 types of it. So one is the material world and one is the Jiva. So there are 2 of them. And then what is from the Prithvi Jala, that is called the Apara, and the Para is the one that is by which the Jagat is, the beings are there. So all the Atma that is there, that bears the, मतलब शरीर को धारण करता है, right? If there is no shariri, then the sharir is useless, doesn't grow, doesn't come in being, nothing, right? So there are 2 things. One is the car, one is the driver. If you have a remote car as a toy, then you have the car and then the remote control, right? So that way it is. Right. And then Devi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. So this maya of mine, gunamayi, it is composed of the 3 guna, sattva, rajas, tamas, and everything is happening because of that, and it is duratyaya. It cannot be trespassed. You cannot go beyond it. You are in the confines of Maya. It is very difficult to cross it, right? And the one who takes refuge in me, or Mameva Prapadyante, that means follows the Gyan Marg, follows the Karma Yoga Marg or the Bhakti Marg, they alone can cross over this Maya. So basically, you do Nishkam Karma, or you try to, find the fundamental knowledge, or you do bhakti. So these are all, we saw 3 different temperaments. When you do them sincerely, you will be able to cross the Maya, which is created because of the Prakriti, and which has the veil on your thought, meaning you want something and then you can't think properly because you just want, I want this. So your thought process gets clouded. All that is what is meant by Maya. You get attracted to something, and because of that, you are not able to think properly, and then all the problems start. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakt murtinaha. Right? Matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu avasthitah. So this whole world is pervaded by me. As I mentioned, Vishnu means that which pervades everything. प्रवेश कर लेता है. हर चीज में जिसने प्रवेश कर लिया वो विष्णु है. So by definition, the Vishnu word is given to that fact, that principle, that thing, that entity which pervades everything. That is by definition. How you have put 4 hands and a chakra and Sudarshan and all these things, that is up to you. Right? That is a later development for the bhakti people, for example. But even if somebody is not on the bhakti mark, they would still say there is something called Vishnu, because that is a definition. That which pervades everything is called Vishnu. Right? It's not that first there was a 4-armed guy and then we called it Vishnu, and then he said, oh, this 4-armed guy is pervading everything. Not that. And then he says, this is very interesting, that everything is in me and I am in everything, every person, everybody, or whatever. Right? And then he says that I am not. Those 2 things, 9.4 and 9.5, very contradictory. I am in every being is in me. I am not in none, and nobody is in me. And this is one of those Zen kind of statements that people say, what is this contradiction? What does it mean? And the way to understand is to think of a wave in an ocean. Right? Now think of that wave in an ocean. So where is the wave? Wave is in the ocean, right? And what is in the wave? In the wave, there is water of the ocean only, right? I, I hope people are there. So, so the wave is in the ocean, and in each wave there is ocean only. That is what it means that I am in everybody. The ocean is in every wave, and every wave is in the ocean. So everybody is in me, and I am in everything. Everybody. That is one meaning. The second one is that I am not in anyone, and nobody is in me. That means when I ask the question, where is the wave? You say in the ocean. I said, no, there is no wave. There is no thing called wave. It is just a shape. If you think logically, the wave is just a shape. There is nothing called like a stick thrown in the water, and that stick is something. You can say, oh, the stick is in water, but the water is not in the stick. But when you have wave, it is just a deformation, shape deformation of the surface. So there is no wave. There is no wave in the ocean, and hence there is no ocean in the wave. It's a mental gymnastic, but that's the way you look at it. We think we are individual, all separate, and our practical direct observation shows that. What Jnana Yoga is trying to say is that the same life principle is in all living beings. Everybody has hunger, everybody wants comfortable environment, everybody needs some care or whatever, everybody needs rest. Those basic needs are there. If you look at human beings, we all want some decent housing, decent clothing, education, a job, and all these things. So everybody has the similar needs. If we see like that, then we can start seeing that everybody is driven by the similar things, which is the Prakriti, and everybody is actually, every Shariri is a spark of the same fire or drop from the same ocean. Now he says, Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam, chara achara. Hetuna arena kauntaye jagat viparivartate. So, Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate. Prakriti, in my adhyakshta, I preside over, I'm like the supervisor. It creates all this chara and achara, moving and non-moving, right? So living and non-living, charachar is one word, but it is char and achara. So with all these different combinations that come out with Prakriti, this world is moving about or revolving, or parivartate is basically revolving around or rotating on the thing. Right? So it is moving basically. So Jagat means that which moves. So based on that Prakriti itself, it is moving. Now Prakriti and the Purush are technical terms in spirituality. They don't just mean Prakriti like nature. Prakritik Sundar Sthal. It's not limited to that. And Purusha is not man or human. Technical terms they are in like just like the Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Similar to that, there are multiple pairs, and Prakriti and Purush is that. It's nothing to do with human or man. We'll see to that. So, all beings are created by nature, working under my direction. Adhyakshata, Adhi-aksha, before my eyes, supervised. Now, somebody might say that, what do you mean, my direction? Is there a being sitting there? God is a grand old angry man, something like that, or what is it? That Sagun Nirgun is up to us. If somebody says, I don't believe that there is a living entity with four hands sitting there and doing this, it's perfectly fine. Because every Shastra, everybody is saying that there is something which is beyond all this, Paramatma. But because it is so subtle a topic, and if you don't give any names, any words, any qualifications, we can't even talk about it. Suppose if you were to say that everything is made of electrons and protons and all, and even you go beyond that, in physics they will say everything is made of quarks. Then why are we talking about this is laptop, this is keyboard, this is me, this is you? Everything is quarks. So let's just talk about quarks. Then how do you talk about this is a pen, this is a paper, this is exam rooms? You have to give those names. To be able to work around in this world of interactions, we have to give names. So that is the reason we bring in all this sakar also, the different forms, because a lot of people find it much easier to deal with something tangible. And with the time, this tangible part also can be removed, just like we talked about the snake and the rope. That is called adhya rope apavad. So first you bring in something to help understanding, then you remove it, saying that the true thing was this. I was just trying to bring your level up to it. Now you don't need the aid. So, for example, smaller classes, you might make graphs, you might make some models to make understand. But when you come in college, mathematics, for example, you have to understand the formula now. You have come to a stage. I'm not going to draw every time for you. You have to now understand the abstract thing like that. That is Sakar and Nirakar. So, Prakriti and Purusha, that is what I was talking about just now. These are technical terms. So, nobody should say Purush means man or Prakriti means woman. No, you could say feminine and masculine principles and all. That is a subjective thing. And in Sanskrit, the words have the striling pulling, but it's nothing to do with human, male, female, or man, woman, like that. Right? So he says Prakriti karya karana kartitve hetu Prakriti uchyate. Purusha sukha dukhanam bhoktitve hetur uchyate. So there are two things. One is the karya karana. So, for example, we do karma. There is there is a reason for doing the karma. There is some instruments used for the karma. Then there is a phal that comes. All these things are coming out of the prakriti. Okay, the prakriti is the hetu or the instrument in all the things that are happening, and the purusha is the instrument in enjoying or suffering the consequences. Sukha dukkhanam bhoktritva, to enjoy the good or bad fruits, right? So if it's a failure, it's a bad fruit. If it is success, so the success and failure is enjoyed by the purus. We'll see that it is because of attachment, but the prakriti cannot enjoy. So, for example, your hand cannot enjoy the sweet that you're eating. Ultimately, it is the mind that is enjoying. If you talk biologically, tongue is not enjoying, right? It is ultimately the mind that is enjoying the sensation of a sweet. Similarly, when you talk about Prakriti and Purusha, the enjoyment is done by the Purusha. The feelings of all these things, the consumption, bhog of the phala is done by the Purusha. And the activity happens in the Prakriti. That is where we are talking about the body and the soul, if you want to say, Deha and Atma, Deha and Dehi, Sharir and Shariri. The Sharir does, but the Shariri enjoys, right? And we'll see that enjoyment is the cause of the attachment and the sorrow, because if you enjoy the happiness, you will also suffer the sorrow when that comes. So they come in pair, it's never one. And it says that these two are forever. So if you want to think of some scientific terms and all, so the energy and mass, energy and matter, they're both forever and they're convertible. So Prakriti and Purush, they are both unmanifest, thing in the Param Atma, Param Tattva. I mean, this becomes kind of a theoretical physics, if you want to say. And it is perfectly fine if you feel, what do you mean you keep creating new terms, Param Tattva and all? What is this? Basically, at some point, and any of you who are, so even in physics and even in hard sciences, we still haven't figured out everything. There comes a point where we just don't know. So, for example, we know that some 13 billions or years is the universe age, and then so many billions of light years is the width. And the simple question comes: suppose I'm just taking a number, I don't remember exact one. Suppose we say this is, 1,000 billion light years wide is the universe. Suppose. Then I say, what about one more mile? So light year is a distance, for those who might not be aware. Light year is a measure of distance, the distance light travels in 1 year. So if you were just to say miles, if I say 10 trillion, 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 trillion miles wide is this whole universe, I can ask, what about the next mile? What is there? So we can say we don't know. Does not mean, is there something beyond that or not? There may be, there may not be. So we say that there is a known universe, and then there's the absolute entity, some part we don't even know, maybe. Right? That is where all these terms also keep coming. So there is a Purushan Prakriti, there is a field and an actor on the field. But what is that Param Tattva? It is unmanifest. By definition, we say you can't perceive it, you can't talk about it, you can't, nothing. It is not even manifest, which means there is technically no way for you to ever experience, even understand it. We are saying that is the final ultimate thing. We don't know. It's the canvas of the painting, right? So you start putting the paint later, colors, there's a canvas, and the canvas is infinite. That is the Paramatma. So it is saying that both Prakriti and Purush, they are forever. But technically, if you see, then it is duality. There has to be something beyond that also. Where did they come from? So to resolve that, we say there is a Param Tattva which has no reason. From where did it come? It came, it was just there. There's no birth. Where did it go? There's no death. There's no end to it. That's why all these adjectives come. Reason I'm telling you is when I first met these adjectives, I was saying like, what is this? Man, you just keep on making some superlative words and this saying, this is God, this is Paramatma, just believe, trust. But there is a reason for all this. Now it says that this Dehi, who is in the Deh, this Purush that is there in the Deh, again, when I use Purush, it is not man. Okay? So I'll just rather use Dehi or Shariri like that. So it takes different forms. Okay? So it becomes Updrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara, like that. How? Depending on uh, what is the role. So, for example, it is the witness to everything. It is seeing as a third party. So, imagine that you are standing in a balcony and looking far away. Maybe it's facing something. It's not. Maybe you don't have a house right in front of you, obviously. So you are now just watching whatever is happening. You are completely, detached from it and just seeing. So you are an updrashta. You are a witness to all that is happening. So in that sense, you are upadrashta. And then anumanta, you do let certain things happen because it is what you want, for example. So you permit certain things to happen. You say, yeah, we'll do this karma, whatever. So there, anumati is there. So you're anumanta. Then you are bharta because you're sustaining this deha. You're sustaining other people also. So if you just talk about one deha only, so you're taking care of this deha. So you become the bharta of this deha. Then you attach and you enjoy the sukha dukkha. So whatever the heat and cold, joy and sorrow, one is physical, one is mental. Whatever is happening, you start attaching and enjoying that. Then you become the bhokta. And then when you think that I am the boss, I am the controller and all, then you become the lord of this sharir. You become the Maheshwar, Maha Ishwara. Ishwara literally means the one who has control, Ishita. Right? So depending on all these things, you take different entities or identities. But Swarup mein, this is Paramatma only. Paramatma iti cha upayukto dehe asmin purushah parah. So even though it takes 5 different entities, IDs, it is the ansha of the Paramatma. Sattvam, Rajah, Tamah iti gunaha prakriti sambhava nibandhanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. So from this prakriti comes three of these guna, sattva, rajas and tamas. And they are the one who tie this avinashi dehi, the shariri, the dweller of the body, which is supposed to be all these wonderful adjectives, Avinashi, Aja, not born, not going to die, forever, eternal, can't be changed, can't be destroyed, can't be this and all. And this Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, they tie it down Or we should say that the Dehi, because of the uh, moha, which is uh, unclear thinking, starts attaching oneself to it. And why does this happen? If we forget the spirituality, if we just ask, because the day we are born in this physical world with this physical body, and you cannot or should not defy the laws of the body. Meaning, body needs food, so please eat. Body needs rest, so please rest. Don't expect or don't violate the laws of the sharir dharma, for example, we say. So don't violate that. So because we are born in a physical one, we are all the time interacting with the outside world. We start uh, relating ourselves to that, right? And that is when we get attached. Then it says, न अन्यम गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा दृष्टा पश्यति. So what he's saying is that the one who is wise, okay, he starts seeing that all this is because of the prakriti, right? Three guna, and there is no other doer, right? I am not the doer. I am just feeling them, but my swarup is different, right? So when you see that all this activity that is happening in the field, you are not the doer. You are the drop of that ocean called Paramatma. You are the spark of that fire called Paramatma. Then you also, get the roop of the Paramatma, right? मेरे स्वरूप को प्राप्त हो जाता है. So basically, it is saying that you are sitting in the car. You were sent by, for example, your company sends you go somewhere. So you are part of that company, but now you're sitting in this car and you think that you are this car. You've forgotten that, hey, your company sent you whenever you are part of that company. So something like that. You are part of that Paramatma. And you came in this body and you thought that, oh, this is it. This is me. This body is me. Like that. Then I think we saw this one. Okay, no, this was different, but similar to. So this Dehi, this Jivatma that is there, it is Mamaiva Ansha. It is my own part. And because of the sense organs and all, it starts getting attracted and then starts considering them mama, one's own.